until the 40-minute mark, it was XctN being the ones that were the aggressors. They were the ones constantly trying to push Neon back, and, well, it is going to be another CTM Enchantress as well, so I'm not quite as certain how this lane's going to go. You know, Jug, Rubik, there was the potential, of course, for those early kills with the Blade Fury, but this time around, with even with a tri-lane to begin with, I'm not sure if a PA is going to be able to dish out enough damage to be able to secure it.
Well, if XctN go down here, they're going down swinging. It's very much the same draft that they beat SMG with. See if they can replicate that success in game number 2. Danog and Ares, take it away.
Tsunami, game 2. Elimination match now. XctN, if they want any hope of forcing a game 3, this is the lineup that they're able to do it with. Some comfort heroes, to say the least. We've seen Yowe already through the qualifiers absolutely pop off on the puck. And before we get too ahead of ourselves, we got a bit of a smoke on smoke action. They were almost diverging to connect with each other. I'm such a big fan of the all chats from a lot of the Southeast Asian players. They're just so close with each other. You see kind of the camaraderie come through.
I mean, this is the Filipino Dota, right? This is the Rambulan coming through. 10 Pinoy players facing up against each other. I'm not sure if there's, like, you know, depending on what island you're from, if you're from, you know, Zon or that sort of thing, but
hold up.
who knows? All right.
High ground, that is not a place you want to be. It's a full Radiant Heroes dragged back into his demise. And our XctN, they're trying to take the fight. And Batrider's not there at the moment. Slowly, we're going to see Enryu waddle his way to help out if a further fight continues to break out.
The battle
they have left in the tank, though. Yeah. First blood. That should be it.
3 runes maybe for Neon. Enryu, he's going to be able to walk his way towards the top side. Does a bat waddle? Though, like he's more of a flyer than a waddler.
Yeah, like kind of flying sounds like you're like waddle slow, and he was kind of moving a little bit slow. But flying, like to me, I just think of it it's faster in a way. They're just kind of describing the slow, yeah. Again, seeing this tri-lane, so emphasis. Last game, you have to shut down the Viper through the early levels. If he hits that second point in the poison attack, lane can start to become disastrous.
Totally happy to have this solo as well on Neon, though. You need levels on the Batrider. That's why oftentimes we are seeing it picked as that gotcha mid lane pick when people forget about it and it's in a really good matchup. But if you're able to give him this solid start, then there is even some decent kill potential when you've got the Enchantress. You know, when CTM starts to make the rotations through, you can still have that enchant. And that's going to be double slows against something that's relatively squishy like a Luna.
I love what they're doing on CTM. We saw last game, just the recognition already. Like, these teams do not have long in between the break. But your Dire in particular, they're doing the same things to block camps. And CTM's like, alright, you're gonna do that? I'm just gonna go to your triangle. Take Centaur Conqueror, armor camp away, and now I've got a creep to play with.
Wonder how good they're going to be on point with the stacks coming out here, because you've got a Luna, one of the best junglers in the entire game. Are they going to make full use out of that Nico? He's in a bit of trouble here.
Wow. That's a lot of damage. The level 2 Natsumi and Yowe. And they can take the tower because the Centaur Conqueror. Timing now expires. They're able to get a double kill. Yowe, your position 5, is able to pick up both.
He's the carry now. Well, still not top in the net worth. That first blood on Yowe, leaving him in good stead. Yeah, things looking real solid for Neon to start things out. And it's going to even put more impetus on the fact that these stacks are going to need to build up. Dire side, jungle, it's where you want to be as a Luna.
And it doesn't really seem like the Earth Spirit is one of the better supports to be able to create those stacks for someone like a Luna. So
yeah,
I really wonder how that's going to come into play, because we saw it last game as well. Something we're bringing up is that the Enchantress wasn't putting as much emphasis on making those stacks for the Batrider. Maybe might be freed up a little bit more this game because of how well that bottom lane went. all eyes on the support's movements early on once again.
Yeah, for sure. And you can just see where CTM is positioning himself. He wants to make sure that these stacks aren't happening, even though Earth Spirit, he's one that wants to be brawling. He can't just be standing around here. I wonder if he's gonna even just allow the camp to spawn. No. Try and contest with DZ. He's gonna take away the bounty rune as well. So some really, it's a different type of gameplay, right? It's a lot more harassment, a lot more annoying. And I suppose that's what you're kind of considering you've got PA, right? Like, this is a Natsumi staple. Both teams going for what brought them to this stage.
So how do we feel about the mid lane though? Yowe up against the Puck. Is there a hero that you feel like might be a little bit more favorable in the lane?
I think it breaks even. You know, the first blood is obviously going to help him having a little bit of extra stats. He was able to get an earlier bottle, so that refill on I believe it was the top rune, really impactful for him. But it's always the factor of, I wonder what he's going to be building into. Like, is it going to be straight Ags? Is he going to go a Yowe Scepter to be able to try and get the combinations in onto the Puck? Because again, lacking a lot of stuns for this Puck. It's going to be hard to kill him prior to having that silence coming through from the Ag Scepter.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if he doesn't use this game. The setup for the Puck, the silence to purge it off, the overgrowth as well to get rid of it. And that's something I want to bring up, is that there are definitely some ways you can deal with the Void Spirit this game until he gets some of those defensive items. Yours, maybe BKB. Do have some aggression. Nico still doesn't have a second point up in the poison attack.
Radiant's bottom tower
Stacking up the charges, but meanwhile Natsumi and Yowe just turn their attention to deal with the Execration's position 5. They can't fight on top of the Nether Toxin, so it's going to cost Natsumi as he has to push back to safety, but he's actually still going to blink on forward. He's able to clean up all 3. Is it going to be a 5-minute triple kill? It's not. BDZ just gets the roll away, but this bottom lane already for Neon, the 2,000 net worth lead.
Even getting the bottle refill onto Yowe, getting the D ward. Neon, they're in their element. They're feeling themselves right now. A lot of farm being given over to these cores. Even just gave him once more, smiling upon OB Neon. They were able to get the Harpy Stormcrafter. So, enables CTM, especially into a tri-lane, to have so much damage impact super early on.
How about this top lane here?
Sorry, I just want to point out something really quickly. Have a look at the dire triangle. How often do you see, with a Luna lineup, you're sentry warding your own hard camp because you're just worried about the enchantress?
Lane as well. One more second. Might not have enough time. Yowe on a dive. This, he's got Astral Step. He's already used 1 charge. Going. So, yeah, he's dive blocked there in hard camp.
Yeah.
Good old CTM. If he can't get his own creeps in his jungle, then deal. He's gonna make sure he can get them anywhere across the map.
Have there been any stacks built up yet, though? I don't think there's any right now on the dire side.
Even Radiant as well, again, for someone like Batrider. Going to be nice if he's able to have those stacks to us to travel. But how about this top lane? I know we're 6 minutes in. We see Luna's 35 last hits doing incredibly well compared to the 20 in the Batrider. We feel like there might be an early rotation from Neon to force Palos into the jungle, or they're just trying to play their own game here.
Well, I wonder how good their communication actually is with regards to, like, what kind of harassment Enryu is taking. Pause that for a second, as we've got 3 people down on this bot side. Korea not dying before the Ring of Health gets delivered.
Radiant's bottom tower
Actually committed full with the Phantom Strike. So they sense a sign of weakness here. The ability on
Yowe is here.
but a great rotation. Even Palos wants a shot. He's got an early point in the ultimate. A maxed out beam. Brings down the Phantom Assassin from downtown. is a 1 for 2. Now, Palos is
Radiant's middle tower
on the bottom
is under
side, and
attack.
honestly, is this where you want to be for the Luna? Because you were free farming top.
Yeah, and that's kind of, you mentioned the point being put into the ultimate pretty early on. If they were communicating, they would see that they don't have the Moonglaves available. So,
Dire's top
yes,
tower
you're scaring
is
in a
under
team
attack.
fight, but if you're able to make a big rotation and push him out of that lane into the jungle, he's not going to have as much farming capability, considering there's no glaives bouncing around.
We're also still yet to see our first rotation from Yowe. And both mid laners have a lot of
Dire's top
tempo
tower is
controlling
under
early.
attack.
As soon as I say that, they're going to smoke up. They've already got 3 heroes to connect through down bot.
Bot lane, they're already
He also
diving tower,
just
though.
TP'd in. So he has to retreat, and it looks like the Rubik is going to be the sacrificial lamb. I don't believe they'll cut off Natsumi's positioning there, so get a kill. That will be a
Dire's top
pretty
tower
early
is under
tower.
attack.
I don't know if raiding can come
Radiant's
down to
bottom
defend
tower
it.
is under attack.
I don't think they can either, and honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that Natsumi, went back down to the bottom side of the map, considering they would have known that Luna TP'd away. So you don't really have anyone contesting you on the top side. I suppose just prioritizing.
Is under attack.
Okay, Yopaj, she's in. Coil drop. Palace's respectable amount of health to be able to stick around. Coil's been wasted. Yowe, telekinesis. He doesn't get the jaunt away. Sticks around for a little bit too long. And I was saying that Neon, I didn't think they'd be able to defend bot, but in fact, they do just that.
Is under
They're
attack.
looking to push on for more. You don't want to dive too far. The kickback still Eclipse holding at the moment. Yopaj, she commits 4, but the beams, they're raining down on Yowe instead.
just
Yopaj is
a
able to
+5
sidestep up, and now Palace is going to be careful. Natsumi jump back in. CTM. Seen what can happen on an Enchantress if you're able to freely dish out the impetus. I know it's only a level
Go back in.
but it's still stacking up, and we don't have another round of the ultimate, but Yopaj, 3 points resonant. Pulse, that's
Radiant's middle tower
plenty.
is under
We don't
attack.
see the Void Spirit too often, but a Yap Boy Void Spirit is one we are always treated by when he plays it.
I mean, you mentioned that they don't have a ton of right-click damage now, and it's basically all magic, but I mean, you're very happy to take these big team fights, considering you've got the 4 points in the Resonant Pulse. Yopaj is huge. He had a full bottle, able to be refilled towards the start of that. He's going to be able to go back and pick up the Banny Rune after pushing this mid lane in. And all this time, Andrew, he's just been sitting happily on the top side. 9.5-minute boots of travel coming out from him. So he's going to be able to
So
put
scary.
a lot more pressure out onto Palace. Like, you can go for a smoke dive here onto the Luna because you know that the Eclipse was used on the bot side. How are you going to turn it around? I don't think you can.
And the worry that I have right now as well is the fact that no one with all the space and all the fights that has been going on down bot is farming too well for execration. I mean, I know Luna's 30 net worth,
Radiant's
but
middle tower is under attack.
you don't have maxed out glaives, and I was kind of thinking Luna is a flash farming hero compared to someone like a Phantom Assassin. You have to itemize for that. You need a Battle Fury, but Natsumi's already got 2 components. He's
Radiant
3, 1,
are
and 6,
scanning.
top of the net worth. And that's not an easy lane versus the Viper. You see, they're able to recognize how can we give Natsumi a good time early. Try and start with the tri lane, they bring the numbers down. Any rotation from Yopaj was to bot. Now with the fact that Luna, lacking levels, went for the build to kind of win the lane instead, might just give them the time for PA to get that far.
You didn't even win the lane. That's the downside, right? Batrider, he's been able to sit back. He eventually did have a little bit of a rough time at the very beginning, but these team fights did not go the way Execration were thinking. You have to think, you mentioned no TI veterans in the lower side of the bracket, so you have to wonder, are some of these nerves potentially starting to get to the players?
Scan, so they know they're on the high ground. Coil drop onto with the Eclipse as well. Power down to the
Nice kick.
southern side, kills off and Ryu. Paj is not going to get back to safety. The Viper strike will tick him
Dire's
through with the
bottom
poison.
tower
Now?
is under attack.
If Zhao should make it as well.
Oh, he rolling bowled it away.
It's a big fight though for Execration. Great scan. Scouts out that movement into the triangle. 2 big kills. and also Palace getting some experience as well. So now he's got 2 points
Radiant's
in
middle
Glaives,
tower is under
and we
attack.
should start to see his farms skyrocket.
Yeah, for sure. What's RR's build been like so far? Just pretty standard RR builds. Hit 2 points into the leech seed. He wants to make sure that his presence at a lot of these tri-lanes, these early engagements, is as high as possible. Really big value, doubling the effectiveness from level 1 to level 2, and then it's just all about the living armor. But still, the fact that that tier 1 tower top went down so quickly, they're not going to be feeling too happy about that on Execration.
You like that Palos is not opted for the Mask and Madness this game? Feels like that's something we see often just to, again, flash farm, but going for a little bit more of the stat-orientated build, it looks like.
Warrior.
I mean, you mentioned it, like, it doesn't provide any kind of stats, I suppose, and considering the start that both the PA as well as the Void Spirit have had, you just don't want to be this glass cannon. You know, you're the core. If you die, it is a huge deal. It's not like this pos for Enchantress that, well, you're pos for, right? You will eventually have some kind of an impact into it.
Either team, I was smoking up Radiant, trying to connect to the triangle because they were aware of the stack, but a little bit too late on that one. And Neon,
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
you're going to be cautious now of the Phantom Assassin's positioning. But Natsumi seems like he's pretty aware right now.
Yeah.
Ability, I say that.
See you later.
Not a spot you want to roll into, to say the least. 3 heroes and Execration. They're coming over though. Want to look to try and get a return kill. Yowe,
Oh, they got him!
2, but in the meanwhile, Yowe is on the prowl. Gets a drag back with the remnant. Yowe still orbs back up. Should be okay here. So they're going to look to turn it back around as they're kiting this further and further back to their side of the map.
Again, they've got the vision, so hopefully Neon look to place down a sentry ward. They know that the smoke was there, they know that the rotation was there. You don't make a 3-man movement like that without placing down some kind of vision.
Meanwhile, with all that time, Luna top of the net worth. That is your Battle Fury completed for Natsumi, and he also has a triple stack at the Ancients. That is a incredible Battle Fury timing. Treads, Orb of Venoms, so definitely not naked to say the least. He's only level 9 though, but yeah, we'll see that start to pick up here.
It happens when you're in a tri-lane, right? You're always going to be splitting the experience away with everyone else. So Luna, right now, having a little bit of that XP lead, but that's going to change around massively. Like you mentioned, with that early battle period picked up, they could give him a good amount of solo experience, as I think it's a 4 stack right now of Ancients.
I wonder if they'll make it a 5th before he tries to take that one.
Yeah, and we were talking about in the draft, it's very annoying to be playing against all of this magic damage, so that BKB has been queued up already.
Get down again, we just see supports running into the land where you really don't want to be. Into to no man's territory, being brought down. Okay, Ira does have a smoke, but it's going to be a bit too late. They had a really nice observer ward up top in the lane that scouted out the PA, falling back to the triangle area, and they also knew that he had the Battle Fury. So I thought maybe if they had a smoke, they could have contested it, but it just got delivered a little bit too late. They're going to try mid instead. Nice timing. Roll in, kick back. Alice is a little bit too late. Regardless, that beam, not a long enough stun duration. They got the lasso, and Ryu, the perfect target.
Remnant just held him in place there inside the fire, getting hit by the
Radiant's
tower.
top tower is
Fantastic
under
play by Yowe. Costs him both of his astral steps to get away. I mean, it feels like this game, Neon are doing the small things better. You know, Natsumi there was in the blur, farming that big ancient stack. He had 2 heroes moving around beside him, and he actually waited. He stopped. He realized, okay, I've got this experience disadvantage. I need to be a little bit greedy here. I need to make sure I'm taking all of that solo experience away. So he just stood in the blur for a good 5 seconds and said, guys, get the hell away from me. I need to be able to catch up so that I can deal with this Luna later on.
A lane.
Radiant structure.
Clips along with the overgrowth. Double ultimates committed for the kill on Enryu. They will find it as Palace claims that one 341 gold to the bank there of the Luna, who is officially now top of the net worth.
Pretty early Blink Dagger as well here,
Yep.
picked up by
Radiant's
RR.
bottom tower is under attack.
And this is something that XctN have advantage of in their team fight. The
Radiant's bottom
coil,
tower has fallen.
magnetize, eclipse, overgrowth. You take a look at Radiant though, very single target orientated. Void Spirit, pretty much the only one that's gonna have that AoE damage. So we've seen time and time again. I mean, these late game fights, I know it was 16 minutes in, but when it gets to that stage, that's where team fight really starts to shine, unless you can get that pick off. So, alright, it did an incredible job last game, but you've got to be careful going head to head versus Execration.
And it's going to be on
Radiant's
Yowe
bottom
once
tower
more as
is
well,
under
right? We
attack.
saw last game, he was able to steal, I believe, 3 different supernovas. He was taking nether toxins. It was a pretty solid performance coming out from him, but this game, there's some even better spells to steal. There's Dream Coils, there's Overgrowth.
What do we
Radiant's
feel
middle
like the
tower
next
is under
item,
attack.
speaking about gel, there you go, just go on to
Just into the cause, you know?
why not? Like, well, maybe I can trick him. Maybe I can just play my cards here to somehow get away, but not the case. What do we feel like could be the itemization here for R? Because we see he's got that blink. Could it be like a potential solar crest to just buff up Palace as much as possible? Or is it a bit more of a utility item or defensive item, I suppose?
I feel like the Soul Crest is totally fine, right? Because you're eventually going to have to deal with its PA, and that extra armor that it's going to provide is going to be massively useful. Hell, even just having the armor when you're not using it on yourself is going to be great. And then, yeah, having not gone for that Mask of Madness build on Palace, just providing him with that little bit of extra attack speed as well. If you were to use it on your own teammate, it's going to be super.
So another support that's items is starting to progress here is XctN. That's Treads, Dragonlance, and guess what? I mean, it's not the Ballista. The Dragonlance, the Grove Bow can do a decent amount of work here for someone that likes to sit further on the back line. And we saw early on in the game 1 that Spectre Haunt was causing issues for XctN. This time, it's going to be a little bit more different from someone like a Luna.
But you've got a lot more ways now to get on top of XctN as well, even in the early game. Like, Yowe, he's going to dive in, he's going to use all that magic damage. Still, no point in the Untouchable, actually just got 1 point there at level 9. But that Witchblade, in addition to all the magic damage, should be able to take out Scam
Dire's
pretty
top
quickly.
tower is under attack.
Positioning even more important as they make another dive.
EDZ. Doesn't get the connection without the
Radiant's
stuns.
middle tower is under attack.
Trying to scurry away. Yopar is...
Oh,
I
nice!
think that Yowe's timing.
Yeah.
Oh, Yopar is just gonna get away though. Actual step still could have
Roche dive?
been denied from Roche. Oh my. Maybe they just take Roche instead. It's like, okay, we've got to get some revenge. You killed the Void Spirit. We got to take your life for that.
Sure, you get the assist, you know, if Roche is the one that eventually takes you down, but I guess not. You've got Area rotating through as well, though. He has enough money to be able to buy the Blink Dagger, but doesn't have it yet. How do you save up for that BKB?
Oh, great overgrowth. Hunted 2. They'll kill off the bat. They'll kill off XctN. They see how important this fight needs to be around the Roche pit. They're going to buy back on the Enchantress. They know the ultimates were committed there.
Radiant
So I don't believe XctN can actually stick around for this. And maybe Radiant, if they get some information that Roche is low, they might think about it. But DA still without Deso might be a little bit too hard. They're going to smoke up though. See the angle they want to take.
Radiant's middle tower
Very
is under
early
attack.
BKB. A loss. Moved up again on Execration.
Goes into 4.
Look at this art as well. Top of the Earth Spirit. BKB not popped just yet. Natsumi now will do so. And the jump on forward as well. Great ward in the backline. They're going to be able to utilize that for a Phantom Strike target. And Execration have to sound the retreat. But they're actually going back in. They caught out Yopaj. Coil drop. He's not down just yet. Help. They stole the coil. on Yowe. What a steal, locking him in, but Natsumi is unable to man fight here with the BKB on Kuda, but it doesn't matter, it's all on Yowe. The DD still paying off drastically as they get the flame break into the lasso. 5 down on Execration.
Oh, he was playing with fire. You could tell,
Dire's middle tower
considering
is under
that
attack.
you know, the Void Spirit was such little HP, but eventually able to get it back. Too much used in the form of ultimates on either side, to be honest, in that particular team fight. So that might lead Execration to think, all right, well, when we respawn, we miit be able to go. No Batrider lasso
Radiant's
available.
middle tower is under attack.
More importantly, just little by little, the net worth increasing for Void Spirit in particular. This XctN timing is going to be the key moment of importance for him. He's going to get that around the level 15 mark as XctN. He's in no man's land.
I've seen a couple too many supports dying in a peculiar position. He also bought back as well. Yep.
Yeah.
70 seconds. It's the health of Roche. It's about 2/3, but I mean, look at the lanes, not in a good spot. I feel like Execration only went for Roche because they literally got a kill or Roche denied while they were all in there.
Yeah. Not bad though. You've got the Manta style, so he's going to be able to push out that bottom side. Eventually the illusions go away, but mid lane pushed in. Yeah, why not? No lasso, no enchantress. Roche already kind of weak. Could this be another Yowe special? They know, yes. They do know. They use the illusory orb underneath the Radiant Observer. And she's just standing there.
How big is his Aegis going to be now for Execration on the Luna? Do you feel like this is going to allow them to take towers and pressure the PA who doesn't seem to be online just yet?
Speaking of the PA, she's getting going on.
TP's still on cooldown. They're going to be able to find it for a BKB TPL.
Nice BKB.
He's going to stand his ground and man fight. And the Palace with the Eclipse on the backline with the Overgrowth controlling the Phantom Assassin. He needs to target to Phantom Strike to back to the creeps with the BKBs no expired. And the rotations, they're a little bit too late. Europarty's finally going to show up, but they've lost Natsumi. A drag back with the lasso will claim a kill on the Earth Spirit, but now they don't have the numbers advantage. And XctN will fall as well. And Execration find 3 under the T1 tower, and they smell more blood. Yowe, flick in, and he's gonna get caught. 4 down.
Do not cross the dark moon.
This feels like it's just the Yowe show. He needs to be the one trying to get as much out of this as he can, because you still don't have the value out of the Battle Fury, right? You went for that BKB because you wanted to be able to take these early team fights, and if these team fights aren't going your way, that is a lot of farming capabilities that you've just passed away. See here, level 18 already on this Luna compared to the 16 on the Phantom Assassin. So that's going to be a big deal. Next key timing, of course, that Desolator. But, you know, you have to think even with that.
Are they actually going to fight your pass here? Like, I don't think you're going to be able to kill me, brother. Pretty beefy. You see, Nico's is actually kind of switched up this game. We saw a bit more of the utility. I believe it was a mech into the Lotus as the first 2 items from Nico in game 1. He's gone the pike into the AC that's queued up here, and we also see the talent, the attack speed, so he's looking to scale a little bit more.
About 2 or so minutes away from Neon's key timings. They're making a smoke play here. Execration side to try and take advantage of that. They're going to get the kickback onto XctN in time, and that Nether Toxic should take him down. Obviously not wanting to take the team fight just yet, because again, you're about 800 gold away from Blink Dagger on your Batrider. You've now got your XctN, and I feel like you still need that Desolator on Natsumi. So Maybe now, when the Enchantress comes back up, you could be looking to go, but that's going to be
Dire's
into
top
a
tower
Luna
is
with
under
Aegis.
attack.
She's going to have her Eclipse back
Radiant's
up in about
bottom
10
tower
seconds
is
or so.
under attack.
You've got everything online, and, you know, it was a good use of the BKB as well previously by Natsumi to avoid the kickback into the Dream Call stun, but I think that's only about 350 gold away from Yowe having his own Acceptor.
He's so farmed.
Radiant's bottom
18 as
tower
well,
is under attack.
skills maxed out. And you're
Radiant
always a
structures
big
are
fan of
fortified.
highlighting any cute
Dire's
synergies
top
they
tower
have
is under
team
attack.
and hero-wise with the coil. They've got the kick at the moment, so it's
Radiant's
not
bottom
something like a
tower has
mag
fallen.
skewer, for an example, but it could definitely come into play. But that is now 2 ultimates that are going to be able to control you through BKB. I mean, Overgrowth is 5 seconds
Dire's middle
maxed out.
tower is under
Coil
attack.
is a ridiculous amount with the Aghanims as well. That's 8 seconds. So,
Yeah.
this BKB on Phantom Assassin, it's, I don't want to say a waste of gold, it's definitely not going to provide you something that it usually does.
It's been punished heavily. And it's not like your supports are saves either. You know, CTM doesn't want to be in the
Dire's
midst of
top
things with his
tower is
nature's
under
attendance. He's gone this glass cannon build again. Wants to be dishing out damage in his own right. The Desolator available. How long left on Aegis? A minute or so. So, see if they look to just give up this tower or continue to fight on forward. It's going to be rough.
That's a great BKB. Instantly, the puck's gonna get brought down. It's not the start that Execration are looking for. And now with Luna on the front line, Lasso drags them away, so Januel is gonna be able to keep their life, but Nico's pretty weedy. They actually just have to sacrifice Pelos. Or do they? Reset, roll in BDZ. He's just trying to get any attention he can brought on himself so Pelos can get back to safety. They're retreating underneath the observer ward. Oh, they got the real one, man. Somebody's running up. Pelos, can he still stand his ground at man fight? It's pretty beefy, but it's not enough. They drag him back to his demise, as I say it. Natsumi, he might kick out and he will. The poison
Radiant's
attack
middle
will claim
tower
the
is
kill with
under
the help
attack.
of the double damage rune. But 4 will fall on Execration. An incredible way for them to take the fight against the
top tower
Aegis
is
advantage
under attack.
that Dire had.
Get away on RR, but just the small things. Really good positioning by Neon, making sure that they're staying between their tier 2 and tier 3, taking advantage of all that extra armor that standing
Dire's
around that
middle
area
tower
provides
is
you.
under attack.
And in the end, Yowe, he's been playing a pretty damn good game. That time around, though, he only caught the Rubik inside the Dream Coil, and that was the key difference there.
Now this one, even with the net worth, look, it's just favoring Execration at the moment. He's thinking about going on RR. Feel like he's got the damage. Nah, maybe. What is that fat wave? Looks like he just wants that.
He's a core. He wants the farm.
Alright, how
20
do
as
we
well
feel?
picked up. Astral Step,
any-
recharge time chosen. So I think that's going to be the thing. Like, we were talking about it. They're lacking a frontliner. Yopaj is their frontliner. Like, he is putting a lot onto his back. There was a time when Void Spirit was just released where I was like, man, this guy's strength gain is way too high. It's been reduced since then to just 2.6, so that's nice. Now that you're not just this beast that can do everything in the game, but when you've got the item build like he has, you've still got a good amount of HP survivability in this game, even with all of these silences and roots that Execration have on their side.
And not just Yopaj as well, with the level 20. Natsumi's closing in on that one as well. So, eventually the armor corruption. He's also going for an Aghanims as the next item here. Do you like this itemization from the position 1?
Why not? It provides you with a basic dispel, I believe, so that's going to be nice against the overgrowth, not needing to pop the BKB for that.
What about Dire? Any big items we're seeing potentially come out? AC's closing in. Lotus Orb as well from RR is about to be completed. tell us only one component to the BKB. So do you feel like this might just be a couple of minutes where we'll see either team try and get these items?
Yeah, sit back and farm for the next little bit, I believe. I mean, you've still got a tier 1 tower in the mid lane, so you're feeling a bit more confident about doing it right now on Execration, especially given that you've got a Luna, it's nighttime.
Here I am.
But, I think Neon are totally happy for that to be the status quo. Only 700 gold away from this Axe Scepter. It's going to be a little bit away from Void Spirit's BKB. I don't think you'll have that available by the time this next team fight breaks out, but you will have the 4-star. Actually, no, he's opting to go into the Axe Shard instead. I made a bit of a blunder during our post-game last time, thinking that it was still the old fun one, but now it's just the double flame rings. Boring, boring, boring Dota.
Still rate this Axe Shard though, because I've actually seen it
good.
picked up a decent amount. What makes the double flame break so good?
I mean, it means that you can just use it to farm a lot more effectively, right? You can just toss it into a wave with a couple of stacks of the napalm and then just get on out. It's kind of like, what was it? It was AUI that referred to stuff like Ghost Push, basically. Like illusions, or you can use things that allow you to immediately get out of the lane and have a team fight impact, but also change the status of the map.
And with how slow this game is transitioning at the moment as well, we're actually going to see smoke up. Radiant feel like
CTN
they're
wasn't
in
caught
a
in it.
position.
He could be baked though.
Showing mid. It's actually on the Viper. So able to bring it
Bring back Coil though.
Nico's actually still alive, and now with the core, keep in mind that's the arguments. So they're wasting the BKB duration of the Phantom Assassin of Pallet. He's able to stand his ground at right click with the A, back, but inside of the river with the overgrowth, the controlling 3. They'll bring them both down, and they're in trouble. EDZ, one more right click, he'll fall, but still, Neon. You see the BKB piecing stuns. It's kiting them too heavily, in particular, the Phantom Assassin in these
Radiant's middle
fights.
tower is under attack.
Yeah, and they've got the
Radiant
range to be able to just.
structures are fortified.
Treant Protector doesn't want to be right in the middle of the team fight. You've got the Dragon Lance on the Luna, so she could just walk away from where the Dream Coil is, even being able to deal a decent amount of damage, having gone that Aghanim Shard. Natsumi, thankfully for Neon fans, was able to get away on basically 100 HP. Still, another team fight got in the way of Execration with Rosha, that Axe Shard. Who they could give it over
Dire's
to?
middle tower is under attack.
Yowe? Just another way to, yeah, maybe just another way to be able to break these Dream Coils.
Yeah, they honestly don't have the greatest shards on their team. With Luna already having one, then it's the Treants. I didn't even know.
I guess at the start. Oh, the root still is on my bad.
Is Nick? Okay, Nico's actually gonna take it.
I don't hate it.
Don't hate it, but I feel like the shard just really gives you power push. That's it.
Yeah, but when you've got a Luna, you've got amazing tower push already, so it just turns like, you know, maybe one tower into two, or maybe, you know, a tier 3 tower into a tier 3 tower and racks.
Yeah, and I guess if Radiant don't have buybacks, then
Radiant are scanning.
like could easily be game. We see what can happen when Luna walks up your high ground with, you know, tier 3 down, just glaives bouncing back and forth, and it's so hard to then get the jump with the just being too disorientated. But I gonna take a fight here. Is they're gonna
To be able to kill him the first time, you'll use all of your CC.
He'll take it. No, there's no way I make it away.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Nice move from Execration. I mean, it is a pick off on a support, but it should be able to
middle tower
transition
is
that
under attack.
into a tier 2 tower. And I do want to see, maybe Neon can get a jump before Execration are ready to ground push. This is something that on them in that game.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
A prize.
You just saw the to the ag shot already, though. You know, that tower had -7, 8 armor, I believe. Completely melted to the Luna, and it means they're able to get out. Time for Natsumi? No.
That was a really cool scan from XctN, but he... Want this wave? Do I want it? No, he pees out. It's either team, you see the high-level plays and just the awareness coming through.
I think it might come down to luck, honestly. Like, do you get some PA crits happening this game? And that's going to be putting even more importance onto this Viper. You know, if you're able to get that Nether Toxin down outside of the BKB, you can't crit anymore. Like, you just can't. The coup de grace is effectively useless.
Not again.
And,
Not again. Oh, poor CTN. At this stage, it's just space. They're wanting to waste the ages. There's no tier 2 mid, so I don't believe they lose an objective. Or they feel like this time they can walk up high ground because their lanes are in a much better position than what it was previously. And Neon, they're not in a spot where they can jump up for execration. They set up with this push.
got Nether Toxin though on Yowe, which is nice. He needs to make sure that that's connected in onto the Luna so that those glaives aren't bouncing around your base.
That should just be a full set now.
Radiant's middle.
T3 down. Melee in range, shoot it to 4 as well. They're going to jump in. Flash it. Great counter initiation with the coil. They're not going to be able to drag it back too far.
That's one.
With the ages. And they kill him a second time though. Rolling. It eats the remnant. So they're not going to drag back health before the BKB. Natsumi's still looking to jump in. He knows the coil's on cooldown, so he won't be controlled through the magic immunity. They steal the overgrowth as well. Go Paj. Magic immune. He's going to jump back in. And they go here from Neon. CTM back alive. He's outside the base. Again, CTM, his position's going to be careful. The glaives will rip him apart with the glaives. The shard from Palace is enough. Another objective base gaming. They're looking for the tier 3 down bot. Neon, 2 heroes down. They don't have buybacks.
Very close on the Enchantress.
Rubik's going to fall as well. He doesn't have a buyback either.
Hibernate.
Execration.
Radiant's bottom.
They smell a sense of weakness here. They're gonna hit tier 4 towers. Rubik's gonna buy back. Enchantress does as well. Nice awareness from Natsumi. Drags the creep wave into the TP. So they will survive to live another day.
What have we here?
It's looking like a game 3, Aries. I mean, last game did, 90% win probability, but this is 2 lanes of racks. This is a very different situation. You're always going to have lanes pressuring into you. You've even got the double siege creep waves coming now at the 35-minute mark. Bot lane naturally going to shove in. Someone's going to need to deal with it. It's, Neon, this is the all or nothing play. Everyone smokes up. They're going to try and find a pickup.
Regeneration.
It has to be Palace. It has to
Radiant.
be, but he's got the Satanic.
They should scout this out. They see the Firefly jump in. Nico once again, the Viper is the target of the lasso. Natsumi on the backline. Sleep brings down the tree protector, but the coil drops and the BKB might be wasted here. Look at the core duration. They're controlling. Great use of the US option for the beams. Natsumi's down and he doesn't have a buyback. As execration, they can push on forward. They still don't have the numbers advantage, but they have the raid bots in the Luna. As Palace is too farmed for them to deal with.
It seems like just too much. That was the tipping point. They needed to kill the Luna in that fight. And, well, even now beyond that, I believe she has an E-Blade coming out to her. So just in case the PA is able to get in on top of her, she's not going to care. She's just going to sit back, either E-Blade herself, E-Blade the PA, potentially turn around with all that magic damage you've got on your side. This should be game.
Actually going to try and burst him up. BKB still available. Along with 3,900 health here for the Luna. So trying to go through this health pool is going to be very difficult, including the Satanic that's also available in the arsenal from Palos. The BKBs, couple will be committed. I have to look to reset, but the creeps are going to work. Tier 4's unhealable damage here.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Kind of
attack.
game where you might say, GG, end down mid. Maybe not the GG, but this is C Dota. The CGG is real, and Neon, they're not going to give this one up. No, luck could be on their side.
You saw what could happen last game.
Look at his quick buy. I don't know if you're going to be able to farm enough to be able to pick that one up. Yeah, but it feels like it's your only hope at this point. Maybe Does anyone have buyback on Neon? That's what I want to know. Yowe does. I feel like he needs to get out there on the map somehow with a smoke and farm up some of these tier 4 items. You know, maybe a spell prism, maybe something like that could give them that little bit of edge that they need, because right now it's just a slippery slope that's angling more and more towards execration.
Yeah, you'll take any little advantage you can get here for Neon. And when you're down this much, I mean, again, we saw what they could do last game. They were down, I believe, a full set and a range racks, about 15,000. This game, it's looking more of a challenging feat for them to come back in. But if anyone's able to do it, saw previously, it's maybe Ira are gonna wait for that next Roshan, which could give some space for Natsumi. I mean, still the rapier.
Blessings upon
It's going to take a little bit too long by the time Roche is up. Maybe they get lucky. Who knows? Could be a super long Roche spawn and they don't kill Natsumi for a couple minutes. We're grasping at things here, but you kind of have to.
He's nearly level 25 though, so he's doing a decent job at farming. He's been able to somehow manage his way into the jungle. Lord Gaber does not give him the RNG for
Radiant's
some of these
top
neutral
tower
drops.
is under
Maybe this
attack.
camp will do it. Of course not. He giveth, he taketh away.
Natsumi's got to be really careful with farming this creep wave. Ooh. Oh my. And this game we've also seen he hold that as RR. It's gonna pop pretty shortly underneath the observer ward.
Instantly thinks away. Not taking any chances.
Well, they see Yowe under a ward. He's a bit disconnected from the team.
He's got Aeon Disco. He should be okay. Oh!
Quick jaunt. My lord, so close. Yowe has got an E-Blade queued up. Do you like this? Because it feels like Execration have an immense amount of magical damage.
Yes, but I don't think it's for that. I think it's just burst. They need to take out a target. You can see he's got the Dagons after that queued up, so they just need to absolutely wipe someone out before these key things can come through. You know, maybe it's a silence. Maybe they're trying to get a little bit cute with wanting to save their BKB a little bit longer and just instantly take out the Luna if you can.
Well, sorry, smoke. Done. See how they can angle direction for this fight. Now navigate through mid.
Natsumi's 25. Not yet. Look at this. They're going full luck. Not triple Starkling Dagger. They just need the extra chance that they're going to get that full 50%.
It's going to get caught by a coil. Oh, Puck. It's on to 3. He did pick up the refresher. We can have a second round, but the overgrowth, it's locking them all in place. Palace, he's able to go the word with the glaives bouncing back and forth. The BKB's expired, and so will the Phantom Assassin's life. The buyback looked to rejoin them. He's unable to close the distance fast enough. Neon, they need a reset. But CTM won't be as successful. Gonna try and split away from the team. And Sarge is there. Natsumi back in. Keep in mind, the BKB is still on cooldown. Let's see if the coup de grace chance can come into play. Yopaj easy will fall. The bash is there. Is it enough for them though? They'll bring him down. Yopaj has got no buyback. They still kill off the Puck. It's up to Palos now. Can you fight the Luna? I don't think you can. But again, gonna delay this. Januel, so hard to catch. Should be able to get the jaunt away. He's got orb up in a couple of seconds here. I believe they will not catch him. Ooh. So slow. Force, maybe into TP. It's being used. There's the E-Blade. That was the gem as well.
Radiant's middle tower is under
So
attack.
4 down on Neon. Instantly you see Natsumi trying to shove out top. It's the only lane they have to be worried about here. How's his gold looking as well? 3,700 unfortunately because he did buy back.
Yeah, I mean, he needed to do that. He got away at the end. There's no dieback being used, but that Roche is up with the extra refresher shard. Who would you even give this over to? Maybe the Dream Protector, because I feel like the Acceptor came in clutch that fight on the PA, making sure that he was still able to do some damage during that overgrowth, but not with 2. There's only so much you can have. He had a Satanic, I believe, queued up. To change things up and go into that, or is it not? He's just going full Divine Rapier. Not if this courier dies though with the relic.
Oh,
You can't.
no.
You can't put it onto that high ground after they've just taken Roche. You know that they've been playing in that area. Just send it through the trees. This is a Ti10 throwback. HY, stay in the trees.
No, I felt like that was their only hope. We'll see.
Radiant's
We'll
top
see what they
tower
can
is
do,
under
but
attack.
the
Radiant's
last full
structures
set,
are fortified.
more than
I
likely
think they
going
can
to
hold it.
have. I mean, I was gonna say maybe they're gonna have to go up against Megas without a doubt, but I don't even think XctN care. They can just stick around and hit tier 4s after this tower dies. They're even just letting Nick go siege out of all heroes. He's got that Hurricane Pike, pack range as well with the talent, Minute of Horn, Ages.
Dire's bottom
I just
tower
feel like
is under
Luna's
attack.
unkillable right now.
Alice has been lassoed back into Fountain one time too many. So he's just like, you know what? I'm not even going to be part of this. Maybe now that they've taken out the tier 4 tower and the glaives can bounce.
You're still Negattoxin. Did pretty nice here. I hear a coil. Who's caught in the backline? It's the Batrider. Out of all heroes, you needed that lasso flicker. Maybe going to be able to come into play here. One more right click, it's enough. I'll bring him down. It does make space though. The Age is going to get claimed. We saw what the Batrider could do for them in the game 1 to bring it back. And without this lasso potential, they're going to end up losing a full set of racks. Now they have to go up against the Mega Creeps. Yeah,
Against
very
Megas.
soon though.
2 minutes left.
Radiant's top
They
tower
are got to try and hold out for 2 minutes. 1, Batrider will be alive. 2, Korea will respawn with that Sacred Relic. I don't know if they can do it against a Luna.
Radiant's middle tower is
Not in the greatest spot here. Need to get back to safety. They need every hero they can get for this defense. And well, the
He's just ulting the Fountain.
They're gonna jump in. One more attempt to hold this second game. Otherwise, we're going to a potential
Golden
game
Eclipse.
3. At the backline, Matsumi gonna do as much as he can. He's targeting RR. Already one overgrowth has been used. So crit down the Tree Protector, but with the BKB on cooldown, the Phantom Assassin will fall. Fire back on CTM, but they have to call it quits, as this is what we want. We